let's just say it straight up. Okay, I'm just going to tell it like it is. If you choose to be child-free by choice, people are going to tell you you're selfish. It's just inevitable, especially if you're a woman. Honestly, if you're a man, not many people are going to ask you or question you because there's this whole bachelor idea. You see this in movies, you see this in culture. A lot of people don't give this kind of condemnation to men, but they do to women. And if you're a woman and you are choosing to be child-free by choice, people are going to tell you you're selfish. However, I have this argument. I think it's actually far more selfish to know that you don't want kids and you still choose to have them. Or better yet, I'm going to be so bold as to say, if you are at all uncertain or hesitant about having kids and you still choose to have children, that is also selfish. Because to birth and raise a human being into this world, you have to be certain. You have to be sure that that's what you want. Because it's not just an 18-year commitment. It's lifelong. It's a forever commitment. And the amount of sacrifice that's required to raise a human into this world is immense. And I think a lot of people are hesitant or confused or they're unsure about should I not? And they worry that they'll regret it if they don't have that child when they're in their 50s or 60s and they're old and they're like, I've got nothing to show for it, whatever. A lot of people fear that. However, I would be so bold as to say it's way more selfish if you're unsure and you still do it anyway, because that child requires all of your devotion and all of your love and commitment and your dedication to it. And you will not be the present, loving parent that you think you'll be if you're unsure with that decision. And a lot of people are unsure. A lot of people question and doubt their decisions, their intuition, their inner voice, that inner compass that's within them, because they look around them. They look at people in society, in the world that are having kids, and they think, am I crazy for not wanting this? If you are at all uncertain or unsure, it is okay to slow down, take a pause, and ask yourself, what do I really want? If I could picture my life 10 years from now, what am I doing? If I had all the time in the world, how would I spend that time? What would I be doing with that time that I have by not having a kid? The time is immense. The amount of spaciousness and freedom is immense. And so you have to be real with yourself and ask yourself these hard questions. Because only you can make that decision. Only you can make the decision that's right for you. No one else's opinions on whether or not you have children is any of your business. And the more anchored you get in your self-sovereignty and your authority and your authenticity of what you know to be true about self, the more you know your values, the easier it will be for you to deflect all of the people that cast judgment on you, because I'm telling you, the judgment's there. Yeah. The selfishness critiques are there, but you've got to get really good at being able to flick all of that off, like water off a duck's back.
What is exactly the argument about being selfish for not wanting kids? Because I really don't understand that.
I don't understand it either, but that's the biggest thing is if you say, I don't want children, people say you're selfish. My aunt and uncle that I was raised by, not raised by, but
they were close to.
Yeah. My aunt and uncle chose not to have children, and they made the permanent decision quite young. And my mom always told me, they're so selfish for not having kids. God, they're so selfish. I heard that all the time as a kid about them. And I remember always thinking, is that true? Are they selfish? Because they look happy, Mom. They look happy. They have this beautiful house with a white picket fence and 2 cats and 2 dogs and a garden, and they're both doing jobs they love. They have a garage filled with their crafts and their hobbies and the things they do in their free time. They travel the world together with their friends. They have all this extra money. What do you mean they're selfish? What if that's just the life that they want to live? They look happy to me. So I grew up seeing that judgment of people who choose not to have kids are selfish. And I've always been weird about that. Even as a kid, I was like, really? Is that true? Is that true? And we're seeing that today. You know, you go on the internet and it's always the first critique is they're so selfish for not having kids. I don't know. I think there's almost, especially men too, or like this need to spread your offering or like spread your genes to continue the family lineage. I think that's one of the biggest arguments
Okay.
is people believe it's your duty as a human on this planet to continue the lineage, to continue the ancestry, right? To continue the name, the blood, the genes to go down because our, all how I got here. I'm alive today because of my great 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 grandmother. Thank you. But
Yep.
also that was their choice. That was
Yeah.
their choice. And we live in a different world now. We live in a world and a time and era right now of personal self-sovereignty and ownership of self and action, assertive action towards what you want. And we're going to see more of that. You guys don't know. I'm an astrologer. Saturn just entered Aries, Neptune just entered Aries. We're in this for the next 14 years. And this is all about taking radical, assertive action over your wants and self-sovereignty. And I just think this is going to be a huge conversation over the next decade.
Yeah. Do you think that people are gonna wanna have kids less and less
Yes,
over the
yes.
past
Because we're
next
entering war years.
Wow.
We haven't had these cycles in history since the Revolutionary War with Abraham Lincoln when he was inaugurated, the Confederacy. We haven't seen astrology like that since now. So the US Civil War has very similar themes echoed in the times right now. I just think we're entering war years. I think that's going to stop people from having kids. And I also think just the archetypal energy in the astrology is, people owning their self-sovereignty and really not listening to other people, like the end of people pleasing. That was Neptune and Pisces, but that era is over with now. If you'd like to see more Child-Free by Choice content and more authenticity villain era content, subscribe and hit the notification bell and check out my playlist down below. And don't forget to subscribe to me over on Instagram at Ms. Helena Woods for all the daily updates. And if you didn't know, I am a full-time astrologer making content about relocation, move abroad, and the world, the times, the era that we're living in. I use predictive timing and astrocartography to help you create a magical life in places you thrive. So check all those details down below in the description and have a magical day.